Poem Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. It little profits that an idle king, but his still heart among these barren crags, mashed with an aged wife, I meet and dull unequal loves into a savage race, that hold and sleep and feed, and now not me. I cannot rest from travel. I'll bring life to the lace. All the times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me, and alone on shore. And when through scudding drifts the rainy heights vex the dim sea, I am become a name. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known. Cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honored of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, far on the ringing plains of windy Troy. I am a part of all that I have met, with all experiences and arts to war through gleams an untraveled world whose margin fades forever and forever when I move. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rest unpunished and not to shine in use, as though to breathe were life, life piled on life, were all too little and of one to me, little remains, but every hour is saved from the eternal silence. Something more, a bringer of new things, and while it were for some 3 suns to store and hold myself, and this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a singing star beyond the utmost bound of human delight. This my son, mine own Telecamus, to whom I leave the scepter and the isle, beloved of me, designing to fulfill his labor by slow prudence to make mild rugged people, and through soft trickery subdue them to the useful and the good. Most blameless is he, centered in the sphere of common duties, decent not to fail in offices of tenderness, and pay most adorations to my household gods when I'm gone. He works his work, I mine. There lies the port, the vessel puffs its sail. There gloom the dark broad seas. My mariners, souls that have toiled and roared and thought with me, that ever with a frolic welcome took the thunder and the sunshine, and opposed free hearts, free foreheads. You and I are old. Old age hath yet his honor and its toil. Death closes out, but something ere the end, some work of noble nod may yet be done, not unbecoming men that stow with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes, the slow moon climbs, the deep mourns round with many voices. Come, my friends, it's not too late to seek a newer world. Push off and sitting well in earth's might the sounding furrows, for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the births of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulls shall wash us down. It may be we shall touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew, though much is taken, much abides. And though we are not now that strength which in old days moved the earth and heaven, that which we are, one equal timber of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Thank you.
Good morning. Today, I will be reciting the poem, The Spider and the Fly, written by Mary Howitt. The poem is about a cunning spider who entraps a silly fly into its web using seduction and manipulation. This is a cautionary tale against people who use their charms and delights to disguise their true evil intentions. The poet portrays the evil intentions of some men through the spider and the ignorance of others through the fly. I will be enacting three characters, namely the spider, the fly, and the narrator. The Spider and Fly by Mary Howitt.
"Will you walk into my parlor?"
said the spider to the fly.
"'Tis the prettiest little parlor that you ever did spy. The way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I've many pretty things to show you when you're in there."
"Oh, no," said the little fly.
"'Twas sneeze and rain, for who goes up your winding stair can never come down again." "I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Would you rest upon my little bed?"
said the spider to the fly.
"There are pretty curtains run around. The sheets are thin and fine, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in."
"Oh, no," said the little fly.
"For I've often heard it said, they never wake again who sleep upon your bed." "Sweet creature, you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I have a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf, and if you shall step in one moment, you shall behold yourself."
"I thank you, gentle sir," said the little fly.
"For I've often heard it said, they never wake again who sleep upon your bed."
So the spider turned him round about and went back into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon be back again. So he wove a subtle web in the little corner sly and set his table ready to dine upon the fly. And then he came out of his door and merrily did sing,
"Come, hither, pretty fly, with a pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, but mine are dull as lead." Alas, how very soon the silly little fly, hearing his wildly flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, and nearer drew, thinking only of her crested head in green and purple hue. Poor foolish thing! At last up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den within his little parlor. But she never came out again. And now, dear little children, who may this story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you never give heed. To an evil counselor, close heart and ear and eye, and take a lesson from the tale of the spider and the fly.
Mother, the bank where we deposit all our hurts and worries. A very warm afternoon to one and all, respected members of the jury and teachers. Today I stand here to recite the poem The Negro Mother by Langston Hughes. The poem portrays the capture and hardship of the black slaves and speaks of the will to endure that kept them going. The Negro mother urges the children to transform their future so that they live in dignity and freedom from white oppression. The Negro Mother. Children, I come back today to tell you a story of the long dark way that that I had to climb, that I had to know, in order that the race might live and grow. Look at my face, as dark as the night, yet shining like the sun with love's true light. I am the girl who crossed the Red Sea, carrying in my body the seed of the free. I am the woman who worked in the field, bringing the cotton and corn to the yield. I am the one who slaved to labor, beaten up and mistreated for the work that I gave. Children sold away from me, husband sold too. No safety, no love, no respect was I due. 300 years in the deepest south, but God put a song and a prayer in my mouth. God put a dream like steel in my soul. Now through my children I'm reaching my goal. Now through my children, young and free, I realized the blessing deed for me. I couldn't read them, I couldn't write. I had nothing back there in the night. Sometimes the valley was filled with tears, but I kept trudging on all the lonely years. Sometimes the road was hot with the sun, but I had to keep on till my work was done. I had to keep on, no stopping for me. I was the seed of coming free. I nourished all dreams that nothing could smother. Deep in my breast, the Negro mother. I had only hope then, but now through you, the dark ones of today, my dreams must come true. All you dark children in the world out there, remember my sweat, my pain, my despair. Remember my years heavy with sorrows, and make those years the torch for tomorrow. Make of my path a road to the light, out of darkness the ignorance, the night. Lift high my banner out of the dust, stand like free men supporting my trust. Believe in the right, let none push you back. Remember the whip and the slaver's track. Remember how strong the struggle and strive still bar you the ways and deny you life. But march ever forward, breaking down bars. Look ever upwards at the sun and stars. Oh, my dark children, may my dreams and prayers impel you forever at the great stairs. For I will be with you till no white brother dares keep down the children of the Negro mother. Thank you.
Respected members of the jury, teachers, parents, and my dear friends. Today, I would like to recite the poem The Race, written by D.H. Grauberg. The Race is a motivational poem about love, care, fatherly relationships, and perseverance. The Race is a poem about how a child faces a failure in his life, and with his father's help, he deals with it amazingly. The Race. Quit! Give up! You're beaten! They shout at me and they plead. There's just too much against you now. This time, you can't succeed. And as I started to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. And hope refills my weakened will as I recall that scene. For just the thought of that short race, it rejuvenates my being. A children's race. Young boys, young men. Now I remember well. Excitement sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up, so full of hope. Each thought to win the race. Or tie for first. If not that, at least take second place. And fathers, they watched from off the side, each cheering for his son. And each boy, he hoped to show his dad that he would be the one. The whistle blew and off they sped, as if they were on fire. To win and to be the hero there was each boy's desire. But one boy in particular, his dad was in the crowd, was running near the lead and thought, my dad's going to be so proud. But as he speeded down the field, across the shallow dip, the little boy who thought to win, he lost his step and he slipped. So down he fell and with him hope. He couldn't win it now. Embarrassed, sad, he only wished he'd disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, get up and win the race. He quickly rose, no damage done, behind the pit, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for the fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up and to win, his mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished he'd quit before with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now, I shouldn't try to race. But in the laughing crowd, he searched and found his father's face. That steady look that said again, get up and win the race. So up he rose to try once more. But trying so hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeat. He lay there silently. A tear dropped from his eye. There's no sense running anymore. 3 strikes. I'm out. Why try? The will to rise had disappeared. All hope had fled away. So far behind, so error-prone, a loser all the way. I've lost, so what's the use, he thought. I live with my disgrace. But then, he thought about his dad, whom soon he'd have to face. Get up, an echo sounded low. Get up and take your place. You were not meant for failure here. Get up and win the race. With borrowed will, get up, it said. For you have lost it all. For winning is no more than this, to rise each time you fall. So up he rose to win once more, and now with a new commit, he resolved that win or lose, at least he wouldn't quit. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been. Still, he gave it all he had, and he ran as though to win. The crowd, they cheered the winning runner as he crossed the finish line, first place, head high and proud and happy. No falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen crossed the finish line, last place, the crowd gave him the greater cheer for finishing the race. For even though he came in last with his head bowed low and proud, you would have thought he won the race if you listened to the crowd. And to his dad, he said, I didn't do so well. To me, you won, his father said. You rose each time you fell. And now, when things seem dark and hard and impossible to face, the memory of that little boy, he helps me in my race. For all of life is nothing more than that short race, with ups and downs and all. And all you have to do to win is to rise each time you fall. Quit, give up, you're beaten. They still shout at my face. But one voice within me says, get up and win the race.
Good afternoon. I'm here to recite a beautiful poem, Disabled by Wilfred Owen. In this poem, Owen describes an ex-soldier who lost all his limbs in the war, contrasting the life that led him to current existence. On to the poem, Disabled by Wilfred Owen. He sat in a wheelchair, waiting for dark, and shivered in his ghastly suit of grey, legless, soon short at the elbow. Through the park, voices of boys came saddening like a hymn, voices of play and pleasure after day, till gathering sleep had mothered them from him. About this time, town used to swing so gay, when glow lamps budded in the light blue trees, and girls glanced lovelier when the air grew dim. In the old times, before he threw away his knees. Now, he will never feel again how slim girls' waists are, or how warm their subtle hands. All of them touch him like some cured disease. There was an artist, silly for his face, for he was younger than his youth last year. Now he's old, his back will never brace. Powdered down, shoe holes as the vein ran dry, and half his lifetime lapsed in the hot race, and leap of purple spotted from his thigh. One time he liked a blood smear down his leg, and the matches carry shoulder high. It was after football he drank a peg. He thought he would better join. He wonders why. Someone had said that he looked like God in kilts. That's why, and maybe too, to please his Meg. Aye, that was it, to please the kiddy Jills. He asked to join. He didn't have to beg. Smiling, they wrote his lie. Aged 19 years. Germans, he scarcely thought of all their guilt, and Austrians did not move him. And no fears of fear came yet. He draught of jeweled hills, for daggers of plate socks, and of smart salutes, and care of arms, and leave and pay arrears, esprit de corps, and hints of young recruits, and soon he was drafted out with drums and cheers. Some cheered him home, but not his crowd cheer goal. Only a solemn man who brought him fruits thanked him and inquired about his soul. Now he will spend a few sick years in institutes and do what things the rules consider wise, and take whatever they may dole. Tonight he noticed how the women's eyes passed from him to the stronger men that were whole. How cold and late it is. Why don't they come and put him into bed? Why don't they come?
Very fine afternoon to one and all, respected judges on jury and the august audience. Today, I stand before you to recite a famous poem entitled The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, written by the world-renowned poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, who is known for the fanciful narration of persons and characters supernatural. In this work, the poet portrays how a ship having passed the line was driven by the storm and in what manner the ancient mariner came back to his own country, surpassing the turbulence. The wild story is made credible through mysterious poetic imaginations of love, crime, punishment, and redemption, a perfect blend of various beings and phenomena in the cosmic order. With this prelude, may I begin. The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. It is an ancient mariner, and he's stupid, one of three, with his long grey beard and glittering eyes. Now, wherefore stupid's thou me? The bridegroom's doors are open wide, and I am next of kin. The guests are met, the feast is set. Mayest hear the merry din. He holds him with a skinny hand. There was a ship, quoth he. Hold up and hand me your grey-beard loon. Eftsoons his hands he dropped, but still he held him with his glittering eyes. The wedding guest stood still and listens like a 3-year-old child. The mariner hath his will. The wedding guest sat on a stone. He cannot choose but hear the bright-eyed mariner. The ship was sheared, the harbour cleared, merrily did we drop. Below the kirk, below the hill, below the lighthouse tower. And then the storm blast came. He was tyrannous and strong. He struck with his overtaking wings and chased us south along. And then there came but mist and snow, and it grew wondrous cold. And ice, mast high, came floating by, as green as emerald. The ice was here, the ice was there, the ice was all around. At length did cross an albatross. Through the fog it came, as if it had been a Christian soul. We hailed it in God's name. It ate the food it never had eaten, and round it flew. The ice did split like a thunder fit, and the helmsman steered us through. God save thee, ancient mariner, from the fiends that plague thee thus. Why lookest thou so? With my crossbow I shot the albatross. Had I done a hellish thing? Day after day, we stuck, no breath, no motion, as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. 4 times 50 living men did drop dead, one by one. Water everywhere, and all boats did shrink. Water everywhere, but nor any drop to drink. Alone, all alone on a wide sea. Never a saint took pity on my soul in agony. Beyond the shadows of the ship, I watched the water snakes. Oh, happy living things no tongue their beauty might declare. A spring of love gushed from my heart, and I blessed them unaware. Sure, my saint took pity on me, and I blessed them unaware. The loved wind never reached the ship, yet now the ship moved on. Beneath the lightning and the moon, the dead men gave a groan. Swiftly flew the ship, yet she sailed softly too. Sweetly blew the breeze, but on me alone it blew. Oh, dream of joy! Is this the lighthouse top I see? Is this the kirk? Is this the hill? Is this my own country? Farewell, with this I tell to the wedding guest, who prayeth well, who loveth well, both man and bird and beast. Who prayeth well, who loveth well, both man and bird and beast. Thank you.
Respected judges, Today I'd like to recite the poem Lucy Gray by William Wordsworth, one of the pioneers of English Romanticism. In this poem, he tells us the story of how sweet, innocent Lucy Gray in a day's time became an urban legend. Lucy Gray by William Wordsworth. Oft I had heard of Lucy Gray, and as I crossed the wild, I chanced to see at the break of day the solitary child. No mate, no comrade Lucy knew. She dwelt on a wild moor, the sweetest thing that ever grew beside a human door. You yet may spy the fawn at play, the hare upon the green, but the sweet face of Lucy Gray will never more be seen. Tonight will be a stormy night. You to the town must go, and take a lantern, child, to light your mother through the snow. That, father, will I gladly do. 'Tis scarcely afternoon. The minster clock has just struck 2, and yonder is the moon. At this, the father raised his hook and snapped a faggot band. He plied his work, and Lucy took the lantern in her hand. Not blither is the mountain row, with many a wanton stroke. Her feet disperse the powdery snow that rises up like smoke. The storm came on before its time. She wandered up and down, and many a hill did Lucy climb, but never reached the town. The wretched parents all that night went shouting far and wide, but there was neither sound nor sight to serve them for a guide. At daybreak, on a hill they stood that overlooked the moor, and thence they saw a bridge of wood a furlong from their door. And now homeward they turned and cried, "In heaven we all shall meet." When in the snow the mother spied the print of Lucy's feet. Then downward from the steep hill's edge they tracked the footmarks small, and through the broken hawthorn hedge, and by the long stone wall. And then an open field they crossed, the marks were still the same. They tracked them on, not ever lost, and to the bridge they came. They followed from the snowy bank the footmarks one by one, into the middle of the plank, and further there were none. Yet some maintain that to this day she is a living child, that you may see sweet Lucy Gray upon the lonesome wild. Over rough and smooth she trips along, and never looks behind, and sings a solitary song that whistles in the wind.
The Type by Sarah Kay. Sarah Kay is a young American poet whose poems have the recurring themes of love and sexuality. The type is not any different. However, it differs in the fact that it speaks more about female empowerment rather than complying to men, which you will understand as I am about to recite the poem before you. The Type by Sarah Kay. If you grow the type of woman men want to look at, you can let them look at you. But do not mistake eyes for hands, or windows, or mirrors. Let them see what a woman looks like. They may not have seen one ever before. If you grow the type of woman men want to touch, you can let them touch you. Sometimes it is not not you they are reaching for. Sometimes it is a bottle, a door, a sandwich, a Pulitzer, another woman. But their hands found you first, and do not mistake yourself for a promise or a muse or a victim or a snack. You are a woman, skin and bones, veins and nerves, hair and sweat. You are not made of metaphors, not apologies, not excuses. If you grow the type of woman men want to hold, you can let them hold you. All day they practice keeping their bodies upright. Even after all this evolving, it still feels unnatural, still strains their muscles, firms their arms and spine. Only some men will want to curl like a question mark around you, admit they do not have the answers they thought they would have by now. But some men will want to hold you like the answer. You are not the answer. You are not the problem. You are not the poem or the punchline or the riddle or the joke, woman. If you grow the type men want to love, you can let them love you. Being loved is not the same as loving. When you fall in love, it is discovering the ocean after years of puddle jumping. It is realizing that you have hands. It is reaching for the tight rope when the crowd has all gone home. Do not spend time wondering whether you are the type of woman men will hurt. If he leaves you with a car alarm heart, you may learn to sing along. But it is hard to stop loving the ocean, even after it has left you gasping, salty. Forgive yourself for all the decisions you have made, the ones you still call mistakes, and when you tuck in at night, know this. Know that you are the type of woman who is searching for a place to call yours. Let the statues crumble. You have always been the place. You are a woman who can build it yourself. You are born to build. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Hope you're all staying safe at home and enjoying the lockdown days and creating a new and better version of yourself. A very warm good evening to one and all, respected judges and all dear friends of mine. Today I'm here standing before you to recite a poem, Lucy Gray, written by William Wordsworth. This poem was composed back in 1799 by William Wordsworth and is based on a true event that happened in Halifax. This is the story of a young and innocent girl called Lucy Gray, who actually lived far away from the town and society in a cottage in a moor. One evening she gets caught in the snowstorm and never returns. But the fact that it's not easy and nor is it possible to forget the sweet memories of our loved ones and loved souls, though years pass by and keeps lingering around us, is being depicted in this poetry. This poem throughout throws light on concern on nature and the loss of loved ones. So now, let's take a travel through the story of Lucy Gray through this poem, Lucy Gray, written by William Wordsworth. Oft I had heard of Lucy Gray, and when I crossed the Wild, I chanced to see at break of day her solitary child. No maid nor comrade did Lucy have. She dwelt upon a wide moor, the sweetest thing that would ever grow beside a human door. You yet may spy the fawn at play, the hare upon the green, but the sweet face of Lucy Gray will never more be seen. Tonight will be a stormy night, and you to the town must go and take a lantern, child, to show light to your mother through the snow. That father will I gladly do, to scarcely the afternoon, and the minister clock has just struck 2, and yonder is the moon. By this, the father raised his hook and snapped a faggot band. He piled his work, and Lucy took a lantern in her hand. Not blither is a mountain row that many a wanton stroke, her feet disperse the powdery snow that rises out like smoke. The storm came in before its time. She wandered up and down. Many a hill did Lucy climb, but never reached the top. The wretched parents all the night went shouting far and wide, but there was neither sound nor sight to serve them for a guide. At daybreak on a hill they stood that overlooked the moon, and thence they saw a bridge of wood a furlong from their door. They wept, and turning homeward cried, "In heaven we shall meet." When in the snow the mother spied the footprints of Lucy's feet, and then downwards to a steep hill's edge they tracked the footmarks small, and through the broken hawthorn hedge and by the long stone wall. And then an open field they crossed, the marks were still the same. They tracked them on, nor ever lost, and to the bridge they came. They followed from the snowy bank the footsteps one by one into the middle of the plank, and further there were none. Yet some maintain that to this day she is a living child, that you may see sweet Lucy Gray upon the lonesome wild. Over the rough and smooth she trips along, and never turns behind, and sings a solitary song that whistles over the wind. Thank you so much.